Not really. I don't think
No, unwarranted.
No, I just think it's Bill Cowher doing the same riff Bill Cowher always does. Down 30-0 at halftime, gotta run the football. When he brought Ben in that year in 2004, they were number 1 in the league in rushing attempts. Okay, fine, different NFL. Ben Roethlisberger threw the ball, and they as a team threw the ball less than any other team in the NFL. He's thinking about what worked for him. The NFL in 2004 is not the NFL in 2022, nor is what is expected of rookie quarterbacks even the same. He also had the number 1 ranked defense, total defense, scoring defense that year. This defense isn't that. They are not. They're 24th in points allowed. Part of that's because the offense stinks. They can't run the ball. So tell me, Bill Cowher, seriously, a team that doesn't have a good offensive line, that hasn't shown an ability to run the ball, whose team captain running back just said, I can't make the holes be there if they're not. I can only do what I can do and try to talk about it and bring attention to it. Why is them running the ball such a good idea? How does that help Kenny Pickett?
I disagree with you.
Based on what?
They do have someone they can run the ball with. They have Warren. They have proven or shown that they can run the ball when he's in the game. So do it. Try it. There should not be a sacred cow running back on this team. They have someone who almost every
the holes
time,
always there?
Not every time, but he averages over 5 yards per carry. I'd like to see her figure out if that is just a small sample size thing or a lack of exposure or a lack of a pounding. I want to see if he can hold up to a full game's worth of touches. When Warren touches the ball, it's usually a good play. The issue is it doesn't happen enough. When you run the ball with Najee on first down, it's usually a recipe. I heard Dan Moore. I was watching Papiani and Chris Hoke after the game yesterday. And Dan Moore was talking about penalties, and he said, it's just tough. You know, after a first down play, you're in 2nd and 8, and then you take a penalty. And I'm like, is he saying 2nd and 8 because he just assumes the 1st and 10 play was a 2-yard Najee run, that they're setting themselves from 2nd and 8 back to 2nd and 13? I thought that was a Freudian slip because there's a lot of 2nd and 8s when you give the ball to Najee. Cut it out.
Okay.
What Jeff just said is the problem. They've identified the wrong running back to be their workhorse. They got the wrong guy getting 70+% of the snaps. It should be Jaylen Warren. And if Jaylen Warren proves that he's not up to it, well then okay. You're allowed to switch back to Najee.
But then what? Then Cowher's plan goes up in smoke.
Cowher's plan goes up in smoke if Jaylen Warren can't get it done?
If you can't run the ball with Jaylen Warren, then what can you do?
Yeah, you're not going to try Benny Snell. We've already been through that before.
I guess you can just run the football more. Again, stands to reason, much different NFL than the one Cowher coached in. They were 19th in the league that year in rushing yards per attempt. They just did it. They committed to it more than anybody.
Well, that's because they were playing with leads that their defense gave them, and they were just salting the game away in the second half. They can't.
And offenses were, frankly, easier to stop.
No doubt,
back
they
then.
can't do it that way, Chris. You're right, but you also can't ask Kenny Pickett to throw it 40 times, 50 times, and then 40 times.
The best thing they can do, the best thing that
you brought it up because of all the hits.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying the best thing that running the football better can do for them is not be a tonic and a cure-all. It's hopefully, and this is where I think Matt Canada, the actual storyteller, play caller, the whole you've got to have a flow and a rhythm to the game is just abysmal. In theory, if you are able to run the ball more effectively, you can run play action. And Kenny Pickett's numbers before last game, I don't know how many times they ran it. When he did play action passes, he was better. Every quarterback is just about. It's hard not to be. You get the defense reacting to you. You get them taking a step the wrong way. You make a confident throw. But it got a ton of traction when Cowher said this. One, because it was a strong take. Well, that's a good thing. Two, because he will forever be endlessly compared to Mike Tomlin here or vice versa. Mike Tomlin compared to him. So when the current head coach is criticized by the former head coach, either by name or otherwise, it's going to have people foaming at the mouth here. But this was primarily Bill Cowher doing his favorite riff of all time.